Well, hello again. Here we are at the finish line for the Gypsy Rose Prison Confessions. I'm your host and devil's advocate, Hatz. You'll find me here on Hatz666, my other channel aimed primarily at streaming, at Hatman, and also over on the green platform where they don't shadow ban on a whim, rumble.com/Hatz. This is episode 6, the final episodic review on Gypsy Rose Blanchard's pre-release public relations exercise to rehabilitate her image before entering the world in her new guise as a perpetual victim, or so she and her legion of do-gooder sycophants want everyone to believe. So far, and without having looked too much at the revelations that have come out more recently, purely on her recollection of events and other witness statements, we've pretty much concluded that she's a liar who takes next to no responsibility for her actions. Everything is someone else's fault. I mean, she only conspired to have her mom murdered, which she regrets, but doesn't, and she didn't realize what would happen when she gave a step-by-step guide on how she wanted her mother to be killed to her mentally challenged boyfriend. I mean, how could anyone ever doubt her word? But enough foreplay, let's see what awaits us in this final installment of the Prison Confessions.
Let's get down to business.
When she gets in the real world, she don't know what it's like yet.
But wouldn't you prefer have somebody to lean on?
I'm just worried it'll end in divorce.
I revealed to Ryan that I called my ex-fiance.
There is that part of me that still has love for him.
We're getting married in like 12 days.
There's a lot of emotions going on where I'm like, are we still getting married?
Your soul is mine.
So I guess today's episode is going to focus on those final moments leading up to her release, along with the need, once again, to try and hedge her bets and play people off to get her own way and the best deal for herself that she can. Never mind that it'll involve stabbing, no pun intended, her husband to be in the back by apparently trying to reconnect with her ex, the non-murderous one, and shitting all over her father and her stepfamily who've been trying to support her release. Last time around, I was trying to be nice to Ryan, basically seeing him as Gypsy's useful idiot. I have a feeling this episode I might end up dragging him like Clark Griswold with a family dog.
Explain this, you son of a bitch.
Getting married is something that my mom told me I'll never be able to do that. For me, it seemed like it was a distant dream, considering what my mother said and the voodoo hex that she put on me. I'm sitting here today and I've got all these thoughts going on in my head. Should I? Shouldn't I? Can I really do this? I feel guilty because I feel like I shouldn't be happy. It's like I'm undeserving of happiness.
That's probably because you are undeserving of happiness. Oh, I'm sure there was a time when you did deserve it, and people would happily have rooted for you to find it, but then you learned the fine art of manipulation and took it to a level where you spent years grooming a mentally disabled man to do your dirty work. Whatever your mom's motivations, that is assuming she ever told you that you'd never get married and placing a hex on you. It seems pretty clear that you and marriage are not a good combination.
Gypsy called me and she just said, basically, I don't know if I'm ready.
This is adding more stress. It's unneeded for her. I mean, if she's not ready, maybe they need to just wait.
If they would call it off, I wouldn't be sad. It's a serious thing and she has a lot of growth and learning to do. We don't know what her triggers are going to be when she gets out. We don't know.
She knows the childhood trauma she faced. I'm hoping when Gypsy gets out, therapy does give her that ability to move on, to accept what happened to her, and to grow from it.
Well, it's reassuring to hear the family unequivocally disagree with Gypsy getting married and voice what everyone with a smidge of common sense thinks, especially when they bring up the obvious point that nobody knows what might set her off. First, she kills her mother off when she gets in the way, claiming that she was abused, of course. Why wouldn't she potentially kill off her husband when he gets in the way and claim that he was also abusive? And of course, now she's a grown-ass woman. She probably has the capability to injure herself to provide a little more realism to any such claims of domestic abuse.
It wasn't easy for Ryan to break down my walls. I threw everything at him to the point that it was almost cruel.
Gypsy can say some hardcore stuff when she wants to. She's got a bite and she can get jealous, and she likes to make me jealous on occasion because there are people who want to be with Gypsy, and she gets letters and emails.
You? Almost cruel? No way. No way. I'm sure if it wasn't the prison environment, she'd probably literally throw everything at him. None of it would be surprising because she's a 30-ish spoiled child who has had endless sympathy her entire life. Even the murder charge was looked at as a necessary evil for her to escape from her situation. And there's plenty of simps out there who will indulge her, at least for a while.
I have said, I don't think that you are enough. I might want more. I might want freedom to date around. I would tell him things that I knew would hurt him because I was trying to push him away. I think I have a tendency to fight off the pain with a shield that I put up, and it's about taking that shield down and allowing myself to realize you have been through a lot and you need an outside source to help you heal.
And by outside source to help you heal, what you mean is an emotional and physical crutch who will carry your ass and tell you whatever you need to hear to make you feel better about yourself. And if he doesn't, then you'll throw some choice insults at him. Maybe a knife or two. But you probably should have just stopped at the point where you said you might want more, that you might want freedom, because you absolutely want more and always have, except you've never in your life had to earn it for yourself. So you look at someone like Ryan and think, well, he's telling me lots of things, it's nice, but, you know, maybe I can get more.
Hi, Gypsy.
Hello.
How are you doing right now?
I'm doing good. I'm excited, but I've been thinking, am I really ready to get married? Am I really ready to commit my whole life to one person?
In fairness, that's a reasonable question to ask, and most well-adjusted people will ask that of themselves. Here, we've got a woman who grew up in a weird world where everything was handed to her. She was sheltered from many of the experiences of the real world, whatever can be said about her home life and relationship with her mother. Then, after getting rid of her mother, she's still sheltered from the real world as she enters a regimented life in prison, albeit one that apparently has plenty of perks such as iPads, internet access, so she can establish a bucket list of guys who might be a potential Prince Charming to take care of her when she gets out. So, in my view, the question becomes less about rational thinking and more about whether she's worried about her own obligations in a marriage and what she can or is willing to bring to it.
What kind of obstacles or problems do you perceive that you guys could face together?
I definitely feel like when something changes out of my normal routine, I freak out. I cry and I shut down, and I just don't want to talk or letting anyone in. So I think dealing with certain triggers for me is going to be an obstacle. I've been in a relationship with Ryan for about 2 years. It has not been an easy relationship, and that's mostly on me. And I think that only added more trust issues to my problem. And so I gave Ryan hell.
I know they'll have gained consent to record and broadcast the conversation, but it's vaguely discomforting to me to hear a therapist-patient conversation taking place. But if she hadn't openly admitted that most of the problems in their relationship up to that point had been due to her, then it just proved that she's learned nothing. But she gave Ryan shit nonetheless. I mean, of course, that could just simply be a female thing. I mean, after all, men are to blame for literally everything, somehow. We can leave the toilet seat up one day in July, and it'll be our fault that you slip on black ice outside the supermarket 6 months later. That is, of course, a joke. Gypsy, however, is just batshit crazy and blames everyone else. And when she's actually aware that she's at fault for something, she still projects onto someone else and lashes out at them.
Many seriously traumatized victims will blame themselves for a lot of different things that occur in relationships they have.
And here we go. The excuses begin to absolve her of some of the blame and her culpability in what took place. She's the victim, and victims tend to blame themselves. Except even if she does say she blames herself, she still has plenty left over to throw on everyone else around her.
I have concerns, certainly that you live such a sheltered and controlled life of abuse, neglect. You met Nick, who had mental illness and a history of criminality, and just like your mother did. And now you're in another relationship and you still haven't lived in the real world yet. Do you have any fears or concerns like that?
Oh my god, this guy is basically just spoon-feeding the bitch pure indulgence. She lived such a sheltered life, full of abuse, then she met Nick and his mental illness and criminal past, just like her mother and her criminal history, and now she's in a relationship without any real-world experience. Poor little Gypsy. A certified victim in triplicate in the eyes of the forensic psychologist. If this guy's impartial, then I'm gonna be the next pope. Utter horseshit. If I didn't know better, I'd swear he wants to tap that Gypsy ass and ride the gravy train with her.
What do you think about Gypsy and Ryan in their relationship?
I'm concerned that she perhaps jumped into this relationship, and I don't know much about Ryan, but I find that their relationship is not completely real world based yet, and they don't have the real world life struggles. So I don't want to be a naysayer, but I have a grim outlook as to whether this would succeed long term.
And now, for the benefit of the producer, he gives what seems to be a more balanced view, but again is still basically making excuses. Things that I doubt he bothered to tell her, or he did tell Gypsy such things, and it's the producers who've edited the conversations to make it seem like he's a massive simp for her. Now that I think about it, that wouldn't be surprising. I mean, after all, this entire show has predominantly been about presenting her as a victim, with no alternative but to have her mother murdered so she could escape.
I know I love Ryan, but there's times that I kind of wonder, am I going to feel fulfilled without having done the whole dating scene outside of prison? Lately, my past loves have, in a sense, haunted me.
You can ask Ryan. I have always had a difficulty letting go of my ex-fiance, Ken.
She loves Ryan, allegedly, but there's a whole load of I, me, and my there. He's a comfort toy, nothing more. Everything is about what she can get for herself. If Ryan will provide it, okay, good. But if Ken will provide it, even better, right?
We were so connected at one time that I felt like he was a soulmate. And I think it started to wear on Ken, the amount of time that I had to do in prison and the stress of who I am as Gypsy Blanchard. I don't think that he knew how to deal with the popularity and the quote-unquote fame of that. So 3 years ago, he ended the relationship. It was devastating to me.
Aw, poor Gypsy, devastated that Ken couldn't handle her fame of being a mother killer. So he dumped her, but that won't stop her from still wanting him. But in the absence of him, then Super Simp Ryan will do in a pinch. At least he'll give her somewhere to live and blind adoration. And maybe one day Ken will come back, as he undoubtedly will, hashtag spoiler, once he sees how popular she is outside of prison and her becoming a social media celebrity. I don't even know the first thing about him, but just on first impressions, he seems like a monumental douche canoe. But then again, so is she, so maybe it's fate.
You may start the conversation now.
Hey, honey.
Hey, baby.
I just woke up not long ago, so my brain's a little foggy right now. Listen, I do my best to be honest with you. I do my best to tell you how I'm feeling in any given moment. I wanted to do the right thing and be upfront with you because I had a dream about my ex, and in that dream, I left you for my ex.
That wasn't a dream. She has the sight. And just wanted to test the waters, no doubt, to see what good old Ryan would say and do if she floats that possibility. What might he say? How might he react? Will he stay or will he go? Will she go? Will she have him murdered? Who knows? Well, I mean, technically we already do know because it's been like 2 seasons following around outside of prison.
Oh, I don't know what to say. I mean, yeah, it was just a dream, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that there is that part of me that still has love for him.
What is wrong with you? Why are you telling him this about some stupid dream? Oh, yeah, because you're manipulating him just like you did with Nick John.
We're getting married in like 12 days. I thought that you were done feeling this way.
What gave you that impression?
Because we're getting married in like 12 days. That's what gave me that impression. That's what gave me that impression.
You gaslighting bitch. What gave you that impression? Seriously? You're supposed to be marrying the guy, so it'd be a reasonable impression to have for most normal people. But then you're hardly normal and have an entire lifetime of manipulating people and their impressions of you. If he hadn't been such a colossal incel up to that point, I mean, assumption on my part, I don't know for definite, then he'd probably have some idea of what you're capable of.
I mean, damn. When was the last time you talked to him? Answer the question.
3 weeks.
Didn't I see you 3 weeks ago? I asked you, when's the last time you talked to him? Oh, it's been so long. Months. What makes you a liar, too?
The caller has hung up.
For the briefest moment, Ryan sees through the fog and realizes he's dealing with a professional liar and hangs up in probably one of the first real demonstrations of manhood that he's ever experienced. Obviously, it didn't last long because within 12 days they were going to be married. Even so, like the Titanic, you kind of hope it changes course, but it sinks.
It hurt because it's one of those where, like, she keeps telling me, well, I've put that behind me. And I think now that the wedding's coming up, it's one of those things where it's like, do I worry that she'll leave me for him? Do I think she's lying to me? Always my thing with Gypsy was, I don't want you to settle. You know, like, if I'm not who you really want to be with, then do not be with me. So when she's telling me all this, I do feel second fiddle.
That's because you are second fiddle in her mind. You're not the guy she wanted. He dumped her. She didn't make the choice. If she had, then sure, her position would be different. Kind of like how when she inevitably dumps Ryan. Should he worry about her leaving? Is she lying to him? The answer to both was a resounding yes.
When Ryan and I have an argument, I always try and call him back. And in that moment of waiting, oh my God, it's excruciating for me. But he picked up the phone to my surprise. And the way that I felt was just like relief.
Do you still want to marry me?
Yeah, I'm not changing my mind.
You're not?
No, I'm not.
Sounds like you're about to break down and cry.
I'm emotional.
Well, why don't you call Ken? Tell him how you feel. Try to work it out.
No, I don't want to work it out. He wants someone else, and I'll never be some blonde, fake-ass, prissy-ass bimbo that he's interested in. We're not going to stay in touch with each other anymore.
Lots of dead air and silent gaps in that clip, but I can't be the only one who noticed her particular choice of phrasing. Nothing's going to happen with Ken. She's not going to talk to him, blah, blah, because she's not the prissy bimbo he wants. Not that she doesn't still want him, but he doesn't want her. And since he doesn't want her, and nor will she be second best, then she'll find someone who can be second best to him. Oh, hey, Ryan, she totally loves you, dude. Just not as much as, well, you know, anyone else who might catch her eye.
I made that choice to no longer communicate with Ken anymore. Too much trust has been broken between Ken and I for me to ever truly have that relationship back. There's no point in keeping my head in the rearview mirror. So I said, yes, I did lie to you. I omitted the truth. But I want to go into this marriage with no regrets. I want to go into this marriage knowing that I wiped the slate clean of any omissions, lies, anything.
You didn't make that choice. Not really. He made it for you, and you went along with it because if you didn't, you'd certainly lose your meal ticket once on the outside. But don't talk to us about trust had been lost. I mean, for duck's sake, you kicked Happy Meals on Legs Ryan to the curb as soon as Ken resurfaced, and before you could say I do, literally since you had married the guy and weren't even divorced from Ryan yet, you were knocked up and spawning bastards. Oh, on a side note, I made the mistake of watching a Winebox Pappy episode a few days ago. Guy's great. I feel like I'm going to have to dive into the Life After Lockup series pretty soon because it seems there's so much blatantly ridiculous bullshit being emitted from her mere existence.
I wiped the slate clean of any omissions, lies, anything. Anything. Anything.
And yes, before I move on to the next clip, this little snippet caught my eye. Moving on, clean slate, no lies, etc. And then the shifty little look off to the side, knowing full well that she's literally lying through her metal teeth at that moment, as she claims she's not lying about anything. Bullshit.
I just need to know that if some bitch calls you and says, hey, me and this blonde bimbo didn't work out, let's get back together, you're not going to say, it. I deserve to be happy.
I'm not, and I get that.
What? Oh, yes, you are. Come on.
I just want to know that I'm chosen over him.
Well, clearly, because I'm marrying you, and I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure that I was ready before I followed through with marrying you, and now I'm ready.
Okay.
We done fighting?
If that last statement was 100% true, Gypsy, if it's not in the back of your head any f***ing more.
No, it's not.
I mean, I swear to God, Gypsy.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on, Ryan. What are you swearing to God? You've got someone in prison who has no experience of real life, emotional connections and relationships, not even substantial friendships, someone whose entire existence has been based on manipulating people to exploit sympathy for her own gain, someone who literally groomed a mentally incapacitated man into murdering her mother on the promise of them being together, only to throw him under the bus within days. So yeah, God was looking down at you right then and laughing his ass off at you.
Do I worry? Yes, but at the same time, I don't. It's hard to explain because I trust her. You know, it might take her a week to tell me, but she'll tell me. I think Gypsy uses tests like that, conversation with Ken, to make sure that I'm going to stay around because she is scared that people will, that I will abandon her.
Yep, that's exactly what she's doing. Using him to test you to make sure you'll stick around. Nice cope, dude. Hate to break this to you, man, but she's putting feelers out to him to gauge his interest. And at this point in time, he wasn't interested, but hey, there you are.
At the end of the day, I'm a murderer. And that's just the harsh reality of it. And I always feel like the reality of who I am and the gravity of what he got himself into, he might run. Because that's happened before with other exes. They ran.
I kind of feel like that should be an audio clip for my soundboard, but I'll restrain myself. I have too much crap in there already. But it'll suffice that she openly admits she's a murderer in what seems to be a rare insight, because as we've seen before, and will again, no doubt, she frequently flip-flops between acknowledging it and trying to dismiss it and push the blame on Nick Godejohn. But how many exes has she had? All but one have been while she's been in prison, and they knew what she was in prison for, so it's reasonable to conclude that her being a murderer wasn't the reason they ran a mile. Maybe it's more basic, Gypsy, that you're a manipulative, gaslighting bitch.
Gypsy has a severe history of abuse and abandonment in relationships, which all goes back to Gypsy's early childhood with her mother. And she's certainly at risk to be living on bated breath in each relationship.
Her whole life, people have failed her, and her previous fiance did, for no reason, you know, in her eyes. I tell her all the time, I'm glad he did, because it led her to me, led her to the one she was supposed to be with. And now she knows that I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, there's no way this is not an editorial decision to tackle the elephant in the room, a big murderous elephant, by showing it briefly that she openly admits to being a murderer. Then the very next segment is the psychologist making excuses about abandonment and abuse. Smoke and mirrors allow the fleeting admission of guilt and immediately throw up a whole shitload of other stuff to distract and mitigate. Yeah, who exactly abandoned her before she murdered her mother? Because her mother didn't abandon her, obviously, otherwise she wouldn't have have been there to get killed. She had no boyfriends or exes at the time, and Nick Godejohn was her only relationship. A relationship she was fully invested in because she needed him to kill her mother. So any abandonment issues stem from her post-murderous actions. And no, Dr. Fabian, her mother didn't abandon her. Unless you're trying to suggest that a failure to survive, like 60 stab wounds or whatever, is abandonment.
Rod and I met Ryan recently. Ryan's demeanor was very pleasant, real sweet, good manners, and it makes me happy that she has somebody she could turn to. I said, Gypsy, I'll support what you want to do, but please don't get married. Learn his habits, learn, everything there is, just like he would need to learn with you. Walk out as a single woman or dating Ryan. Don't walk out married.
Of course you'd expect Ryan to have good manners meeting his in-laws. I mean, what kind of douche lord would he have to be to meet them and be a dick? But otherwise, stepmom talks sense. He doesn't really know him. He doesn't really know her. She's never lived in the outside world in any capacity that is really worth a damn. It's somewhere between the blind leading the blind or the desperate leading the desperate.
She don't know what it's like to live in the real world yet. She doesn't know what it's like to live with a man. And I'm just worried it'll end in divorce. I don't want to make her feel like, I don't support her or that she's still being controlled. But I never met him. You're gonna worry about if this person has the right intentions, if they can really give her what she needs. So I told Gypsy, I'm gonna have to find out for myself. I'm a tough one to please.
Different reasoning, but it sounds like the half-siblings have something in common in both being hard to please. Though at least the sister knows how to live her own life, so that does give her a bit more leeway to be demanding.
I think it's important that Ryan meet Mia because I come to her with questions about relationships and life, and she gives me this, great advice. Mia is 21 and I am 31. But sometimes I kind of feel like she's the older sister. Even though I'm the older sister, she's had far more life experience than me.
And that's the thing. It's completely plausible that someone can be significantly older, but also far less mature than someone else. Gypsy's sheltered life and the various bubbles she's existed in denied her any real opportunity to learn life's harsh lessons. So it goes beyond Gypsy just sounding like a whining child whose whole demeanor and outlook is light years separated from Maya, who, despite being 21, presents as a competent adult.
Hey.
What's up?
What's up, Christy? Doing all right?
Doing good.
It's nice to see you again.
You too. How was your day?
Long, but I'm Ryan.
Hi, I'm Mia.
Nice to meet you. You doing all right?
Yeah. You absolutely have to make sure that the person that, your sibling is with is worth it.
I have no idea what Maya does for a living, but I get legal profession vibes from her. Not a cop, but someone who's working towards becoming a lawyer. I mean, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the impression I get. Zero fucks given, only facts accepted.
What made you want to talk to her? Like, how did that happen?
I saw her story 3 years ago, and I remember thinking, she's cute. She's cute. And so I started writing my letter right then.
Fanboying, huh?
Well, at that point. Yeah, at that point, I guess I was.
I know y'all heard so many opinions already, and I know how annoying it could be. I'm just worried that, when she gets in the real world, she don't know what it's like yet.
But wouldn't you prefer have somebody to lean on? When times get tough, instead of just...
Yeah, but she has us.
Yeah, she's pretty much on the ball, picks up on the fanboy tendencies, but so far at least, polite enough not to outright call poor Ryan a desperate, lonely man who resorted to writing the murderers in jail because he thought they were cute. And yeah, whether he intended to be a dig or not, it was pretty obvious he was inferring that he would be around to offer more than the family would. I mean, Ryan, have you never seen the Fast and Furious movies?
You don't turn your back on family.
Look, we have something special, and I understand your apprehension. I get it. I don't see anything that would prevent her from living a normal life. I really don't.
I mean, I don't think it...
Her life will never be normal. I'm convinced her life will never be normal. Ain't no way. The amount of people that know about her, it's not just some small little case.
Some people are seeing money signs and will die to get a story. My concern is when she gets out, how crazy it's gonna be.
Right.
I hate to bring up the last one that said that, and when it got hard,
he bonked out.
It does seem like the family are fully anticipating the circus that's going to accompany Gypsy's release. I mean, the fact a documentary crew has been following her case and interviewing them in the lead up to her release is just a small insight into what's going to follow. Combine that with the interest in their lives as Gypsy's relatives over the years, and I think there's a lot of experience with the media and the fallout that Ryan is unaware of or is remaining willfully ignorant to. I mean, as stepmom says, Gypsy's life will never be normal, and most of that's probably down to her being stupid. And there'll be people around who see money signs wherever she goes. And lo and behold, what has come to pass?
I'm praying that this marriage works, but I'm also scared that it will be too much for him to handle. Because this has happened before, with Ken. And that is what I'm scared of when he says, I didn't sign up for this.
While the concerns are reasonable, it's not really a spoiler anymore to say it's something that was never realized. Ryan didn't run away. He was dumped, as predicted, the moment Ken came circling back around on realizing just how much attention Gypsy was getting and presumably the cash cow that she could be. I mean, I'm sure Ryan didn't sign up for that, but it seems like he's prepared to sign up for the rest of it.
Gypsy loves the fact that I do not care what people say about me. I don't care. I'm like,
the same way.
This is my life. You don't affect me. I don't care. You can say whatever about me all you want. I know the truth. I've sacrificed a lot to be with Gypsy. I had an experience, my last teaching job. They found out that I was in a relationship with Gypsy Rose, and they asked me to resign because of it. It was a Christian organization, and they felt that I was affecting the safety of the kids for being with Gypsy. I'm in a better job now. But it was so ludicrous and so crazy. It broke my heart because I love the school and I love the kids.
It's good that he takes that view and says he'll dig his heels in, that he doesn't give a damn what people say about him. He's going to need a thick skin, which, fortunately, he has, literally. But jokes aside, it's not unsurprising that being in a teaching role, the powers that be are going to look at his relationships and take issue with certain things.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
Do you know if you could have kids?
I've thought about that, but I don't see why my swimmers wouldn't swim.
I told you she's blunt.
Yeah.
I'm not as worried as I was before, but obviously I'm still gonna be.
That's your sister.
You heard her, she's
Absolutely.
kicking your ass,
I don't expect anything different.
Ryan said that the meeting with Mia went, okay. I believe the first thing he said was, your sister's quite a little firecracker, isn't she?
Well, yes, she did basically question his testicular function, so yeah, virtually no punches pulled.
He wasn't afraid to stick up for himself, and he always had a reply. But I don't think they should be making that decision to get married now. And I'm not gonna keep her from doing anything. I want her to live. But she has a whole life to experience, a whole life to live.
He seems really nice, but I still have my doubts about, does she have to get married?
Of course she doesn't, but she wants to. Even to the most rational individuals, it's a bad idea. She needs a codependent relationship of some description, and Ryan, at this particular point in time, is the best offer she has on the go.
It is July 20th, 2022. I get married tomorrow. I am in Chillicothe right now, on my way to get some cupcakes for our Friday visit. I'm excited. Can't be too much. It's a prison, so it's got to be simple, but I am trying to make this day as special as I possibly can for Gypsy. Hey, I'm Ryan. I'll order some cupcakes.
Absolutely. Welcome in. Let me go grab those really quick, okay?
Not a problem.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Oh, my
What
goodness.
are we thinking here?
That is awesome.
Good.
At the ceremony, she has to wear khakis. It's sad they don't let her wear a dress. When they say you may kiss the bride, me and Gypsy are going to kiss, and it is going to be special, but it's going to be a prison kiss. I can just kiss her for a second.
I don't think anybody was really expecting you to consummate the marriage right there and then. I mean, they might do that in certain movies, but this is real life, not just a fantasy. Nice looking cupcakes, though. I kind of want one now.
Now getting closer to the wedding, I'm getting nervous, only because I haven't heard from her. Usually I hear from her like clockwork.
I'm sure she's not even attempting to reach Ken, let alone talking to him about pre-wedding nerves and hoping he'll rush to her rescue.
So there's a lot of emotions going on where I'm like, okay, what's going on? Are we still getting married?
Gypsy has had cold feet and been like, oh, we're not getting married.
Those fears are there that what if she doesn't show up tomorrow?
Then you'll look like a complete idiot and a lot of people will say, I told you so. But don't worry, Ryan, I'm sure the producers wouldn't be showing all of this unless they already knew there was a happy ending, or sort of a happy ending.
Gypsy hasn't called yet the night before our wedding. I know that people are trying to get her to not marry me. So I won't feel secure until she says, I do. I love Gypsy more than life itself. She's my everything. Man, here's our Christmas set. Those are my favorite.
An offender at the Chillicothe Correctional Center.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. Damn, I was wondering when I was going to hear from you.
Well, I don't. Honestly, I'm really busy.
You're in prison. What could you possibly be busy with? Or who?
Are you feeling good about the wedding?
I feel good. I feel excited. I've been making preparations, getting everything ready, so I don't really wake up every in the morning.
Oh, well, baby, it's your wedding day. I think you could run through the hall screaming if you wanted to. I still can't believe we're getting married in less than 24 hours.
I know. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Me too, baby. All right, well, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, baby.
Aw, how sweet. Okay, so ulterior motives behind busy dismissed. She's getting ready early to avoid disturbing her cellmates, though I'm not sure in the logic of that because I'd assume they have quite a regimented wake rest time, so everyone will be up when she got up anyway. I don't know, maybe I'm just being too cynical because it's impossible to avoid how deceitful she can be.
I'm trying to get my tie perfect. All right.
Oh my God, what color is that? Is that salmon or something? I mean, maybe it's just a light, but that is hideous. Even I wouldn't wear that. No comments.
I never thought this day would come. If I'm crazy enough to write Gypsy Rose Blanchard a letter, I'm crazy enough to be marrying her today. And I'm so excited for our future.
Really? The immense amounts of access the prison gave you for interviews, recorded phone calls, and other things that allowed you to comprehensively present her as a perpetual victim, and they won't let you record the ceremony. Well, thank goodness for small mercies, though it might have been funny to listen to them stammer through their vows.
My darling love, today I stand before you, taking in every detail of all that you are. Your smile, your eyes, the way you look at me.
Gypsy Rose, when you walked into the visiting room the first time, I realized at that moment I was meeting the love of my life.
The man I came to call my best friend, I now call husband. With all that life has to offer us, I vow to be yours. I love you with all of my heart and soul, your wife, Gypsy Rose Anderson.
Okay, so we'll get them to re-recite their vows for the benefit of the production crew. It's not quite the same, though.
I am married. This guy, right here. It's awesome. When I first laid eyes on Gypsy, I was like, she showed up. It's a relief, like finally. Yeah, I can breathe now. I can breathe. I am giddy because I married somebody so amazing as her. So many people chase Gypsy and want to be with Gypsy still. And I'm honored that she chose me.
I don't know why you're so worried. I mean, it's not like she could have run off, refused to marry you, sure, but she wasn't going anywhere. Bro, I hate to break it to you, but people aren't chasing Gypsy because they necessarily like her. They have a fetish for her, or are sad, weird, lonely people who think they can fix her. Kind of like you. It's stupid. Noble, but stupid.
Ryan and I's relationship has not been a bucket of roses and sunshine. But if I can handle the stress and the trauma and everything that my mother put me through growing up and in my adulthood, going through prison, I feel like marriage is something that I can tackle on.
Oh, dude, really? You decked your own car out to drive it all alone with just married on it? But back to Gypsy, and she now feels rewarded for all the torment visited on her by her mother that led her to prison, with the minor omission that she put herself in prison by murdering the aforementioned mother. Oh, time jump. I guess nothing of interest happened for 3 months. Good.
After we got married, everything was great, and I felt really good about it. Then 2-3 months later, reality started to set in a little bit more.
We could quote some Eminem about snapping back to reality, but this bitch never lived it in the first place. Oh, she's visited from time to time, mostly when she's been brought to book on the bullshit she's taken part in, like killing her mom. But now the inevitable transfer from prison life to free life beckons, with a husband locked in and all the real life shit that comes with it.
We had that honeymoon phase for about 2 months, and then a situation arose where we had an argument over somebody from her past. It wasn't Ken. But an ex contacted her out of the blue. When I didn't like the fact that she was talking to him again, she labeled me as controlling, like her mom.
Oh my god, how many exes does she have? It's not Ken this time, so who the hell is this one? Now, on the one hand, she can't control if someone gets in touch with her. How she responds is something else entirely, of course. And throw in that I don't know who this is or what the context was. If you're freaking out because some rando got in touch with her, then that's on you. However, again, devil's advocate here. If her go-to reaction is you're being controlling just like my mom, that would imply that there's maybe more going on in this interaction than's being presented. So she's shifting the focus of blame back to him. Or, equally, there wasn't, and you're just being possessive and jealous.
I called Christy, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to be married right now. And that's when she gave me the advice to get an annulment.
Boy, that escalated fast. First marital argument, and it's being suggested that she gets an annulment, which I guess is entirely reasonable given the lack of actual living together dynamic. But damn, if that's the first suggestion, it's pretty clear it ain't gonna last. Which is not spoiling anything to say that it doesn't.
In October, Ryan and I had a disagreement about an ex-boyfriend of mine. And his voice got raised a decibel too loud. And I fell apart.
So his voice gets a little elevated over the subject of an ex randomly making contact with you, and you presumably responding to that contact, though I don't know the context, of course, and that's grounds for massive meltdown. Yeah, this whole being able to deal with reality thing is a long way off, isn't it?
During that fight, she said, I consider us separated. And I was like, well, we're not. We're married. And she's like, no, we're separated right now. And I was like, if that's what you want, fine.
Yeah, dude, she thought she had a shot with this ex, whoever the hell it was, and wanted you gone so she could have what she thought might be a better option. But of course, reality and Gypsy mix like oil and water. And can we take a moment to appreciate that despite the fact they're recording this 3 months or more after they were married, the captions still listed him as Gypsy's fiancé? Bro, even the production crew don't take your marriage to this bitch seriously. It's a pity one of the guys on the staff didn't take you to one side and just, uphold the bro code for a few minutes.
For like 2 weeks, I didn't wear my wedding ring. And I said some really, really mean things to him that I don't feel our relationship is going to work out. Like, I don't feel like he's enough for me.
The funny thing is that when she's being honest, it fits with everything that everyone has been saying all along. She doesn't think it's going to work out. Well, we all know it doesn't, and there was almost nothing in the build-up that even hinted the possibility that it might. She doesn't think he's enough for her. Brutally honest from her, but also completely expected from a selfish, entitled bitch. It's not because he's not potentially a good guy, it's because she wants more. And worse than that, she thinks she's entitled to more. So whether it's this random ex or Ken or whoever the hell else comes along, she wants whatever she wants, whenever she wants it, while keeping her eyes open to the next mug who might come along that she thinks she can grift off.
I went to see her. If she really wanted to get an annulment, I had to hear it straight from the horse's mouth while she's just sitting in front of me. I didn't know what would happen. I really didn't.
Fair play. If she's going to flush your relationship, then it's only reasonable to expect an explanation for it, though I suspect it was less about hearing reasonings for it and more groveling so that she wouldn't leave him. I mean, obviously it worked because whether it was his efforts or her latest fantasy boyfriend falling through, who the hell knows, but yeah, they patched things up for a while.
He told me that he loved me. He asked me if I was in love with him, and I said yes. I really am, but when it comes to him, it's like I don't know how to be healthy for him. And I said, I need help. I need therapy. And I think that you do too. And that has been the last argument that we have had.
I smell gas. Please don't light a match, Gypsy. I only want to divorce you because I don't know how to be good for you. And my critical thought process says the ex I thought might have been interested really wasn't, and he was just writing to me to offer congratulations on me getting married. So yeah, I'm just sticking with what I got. But it's okay. She needs therapy, which is stating the bloody obvious, but also he needs to get it too, which obviously he does because he's pursued a murderous bitch who has a habit of manipulating men to do stupid shit. Hint, you're gonna need a better therapist.
This is southwestern Louisiana. I am a teacher at a school here in town. People are really friendly down here. I think Gypsy will be well received. It's a big town, but it's got that small town feel to it. Everybody knows everybody, really. That can be a good and a bad thing.
I'll have to watch the follow-up series to know what happens with this small town and how things work out with the locals, if they even work out with locals. I don't know, but I suppose it seems slightly more encouraging, given that his last school pretty much forced him out for being involved with a mother murderer.
During that fight in October, somebody released an email that was picked up by a tabloid, and it wasn't true at all. And it said, like, it's over, they're getting annulled.
During the fight, I emailed a few of my friends talking about potentially getting enrollment, and someone shared that email.
Ryan was freaking out. He was freaking out. I said, I warned you.
First rule of the internet, it's forever. So if you email or post something, expect it to come out at some point if someone decides to be vindictive against you or just simply wants attention for themselves at your expense. But of course, why would we expect her to know that? Sheltered life and all that, right? But stepmom's right. She warned him and he told her that he didn't care what people had to say. Guess apparently he does.
It's awful, like, having a wife that you can't touch on a daily. The reality is, me and Gypsy are in limbo. We are waiting to start our life. But if I'm betting on our relationship, I'm betting on success. I'm betting on kids, the full nine.
When it comes to gambling, unless you get your timing right, the house always wins. But you're right on one thing, she will have kids, just not with you. I mean, she'll technically still be married to you at the time, but just not breeding with you. Look on the bright side there, Ryan. I mean, at least you won't be bound to her forever by a mutual child, so you can sever all ties and, hope she ceases to exist.
The kind of mother that I envision myself being is absolutely different from my own mother. I feel like I know everything not to do.
I think Gypsy would make a great mother because she's so sweet and caring.
There are people less inept when it comes to life that should never be permitted to breed. A woman who has the worldview of a child, but nevertheless was able to manipulate the murder of her mother and condemning a man to life in prison for the act is probably not the ideal candidate for motherhood herself. Shit, Ryan, she can't even handle you back-talking without wanting to divorce you. So imagine a baby that won't stop crying, or a toddler having constant tantrums, or a moody teenager who will inevitably go through the "I hate you" phase of life. They all do it. Will she kill her own kid, or will she morph into a tyrannical mother who has to be slain by her child in an ironic twist of fate for Gypsy?
I want to live a simple life that everybody else takes for granted. Doing the simple things like driving a car, having dinner with friends. I want a job. I want to look in that mirror and see everything that my mother said that I wouldn't be. I don't expect it to be easy. But I think that's part of the fun, too. And I'm just ready. I'm ready to take it on.
She wants all these normal mundane things that people take for granted, yet decides to exist on social media and have camera crews following her around constantly. She goes out of her way to stay in the public eye and get paid for selling out her privacy. Not that she'd have much of it anyway, because there's always going to be someone trying to ask questions and the like, but news gets old real quickly, and if she's living a boring, mundane life, she'd quickly be forgotten. But the fact is, she doesn't want to be forgotten. She needed the attention when she was living with her mother. They both did, in order to have the creature comforts, and she needs that attention now and the perks that come with it. Working a 9 to 5, or shifts, saving for indulgences, struggling with bills, all that stuff. That's work. That's real life. Why do that when she can both be the center of attention and trade off other people's generosity for as long as possible?
I'm a little nervous. I didn't sleep last night. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep. Yeah. I've been incarcerated for 8.5 years. I will be released on Thursday, December 28th. I've been kind of packing things in my room, and it's kind of funny because I started packing like 2 years ago.
Okay, well, you got bonus material after the credits have rolled. I mean, outtakes would have been better, but it's simply covering her release, I guess. And how much shit can you possibly accumulate in prison that you're packing 2 years before release, let alone 2 days before release? It's because you're lying again. Yeah, okay, not a major lie, just a little one that could even be passed off as humor. It's Christmas, I'll let it go.
Louisiana, we're not used to the snow.
Yep, but you're a big old boy with a lot of built-in insulation. You gotta be nice and warm and toasty there.
I'm excited. I'm super excited, super nervous, but in a good nervous. Like it's ready for it to have. It's actually happening. All right, party people.
Heading out.
Next time y'all see me, I will have Gypsy Rose.
I'm beside myself.
Oh, the excitement. She's coming home to basically the Airbnb they've hired to welcome her and have a party. Welcome home, Gypsy. Just don't unpack because we have to leave in a couple of hours.
I'm a little bummed out because Ryan's going and I'm not. But I mean, I'm super excited she's coming out. She's coming out. She wants Ryan to get her. We're totally cool with that. They're going to come tomorrow.
Tomorrow night she'll be with us, and it freaks me out. Like I'm overwhelmed because I never in a million years thought that this day would come.
Never in a million years. Really? I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but she's only getting out like 18 months or so early since she was only given 10 years in total for killing her mother. Now, if you were Nick Godejohn's mother, then sure, the phrase never in a million years would apply because he's going to die in prison because of Gypsy. But hey, fuck him, right?
Oh. Well, this is as nice as I'm going to look. As nice as it gets.
Oh, there he is. I can do that. Game time. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I got you, boss. Let's see. Off. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
No filming allowed. I mean, pity someone didn't make that declaration the instant someone suggested doing documentaries about Gypsy, but then that would have deprived me of this fine content.
The boots do not fit.
The boots don't fit?
The boots don't fit.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Everything that I'm wearing is so small.
I told you. Let me give you a kiss. Love you.
I love you. I'm
You
ready
look so
to go.
good. You look so good.
The boots don't fit. It's a hell of a line for your first words as a free woman. Everything's so small, apparently. Like, didn't she give you her sizing? I mean, surely it's in her prison garb, so you'd think she'd at least know what size she was and would tell you, or are you just stupid? I mean, of course, it would have been hilarious if she'd want him to rock up with a Disney princess outfit. Cringe, but hilarious all the same.
Oh, it so feels so weird being in a car.
Yeah, I get to touch your leg. Oh, I missed you.
I miss you too.
Oh, you're free.
I'm free. Woo! This car is going really fast.
Yeah. Hit that box button down there at the bottom.
Okay.
All right. Which one you want?
Instagram.
Okay, Instagram's on the home screen.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Aw, that's so crazy.
And a foreshadowing of things to come. Not even made it to the rental house yet, or seen her family, but is already trawling social media. Straight to Instagram. The monster has been unleashed.
I feel like ever since my case was all over the media, all over the news, people have been on this journey with me. It's cold. Hi.
What took you so long?
Hi.
You made it. Safe and sound. Just like I said.
A little scared?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. It was a little scary there for a second. Thank you.
Free, huh?
Oh,
Oh, so happy for you.
I missed you guys.
God, I missed you too.
I think that I've outgrown this prison version of myself that I think a lot of people have come to associate me with. I think what I'm really searching for in my life is a purpose for my life.
If you are searching for purpose in life, then social media is definitely not the way to go. And that applies to Gypsy or any other saddo out there who desperately craves attention by way of the internet. It's a bad idea. It's supposed to be a side hustle, something to pass a little time here and there. The only one I really indulge is Twitter, X, Elon's digital hug box. And that's because I enjoy dragging the ever-living shit out of people on there for being stupid. YouTube and Rumble, I don't really consider them the same because I upload or I stream on a limited basis. Now, if you're someone who does it several times a day, every day, then that's a different matter. Beyond that, I can't really give her any advice because most of it's a couple years out of date now. And from the spoilers I've seen, she's already screwed up so much and is well on the way to being one of the most reviled people on the internet. Fortunately, there'll always be a Dylan Mulvaney or a Jeffrey Marsh to keep her from being the most reviled.
My name is Mike Stanfield, and I was her attorney during the case. I guess what I would like is just some clarification as to why she needs to travel directly to Louisiana.
This was supposed to be a good day. A lot of my friends and family traveled out of state to see me. And we just kind of wanted to get together, share some quality time for a few days before we drove back.
So the issue is you just want her out of the state of Missouri.
Hey, he's calling down Richard right now.
This is easy. Let's just give him.
I just need a minute, okay?
I kept asking the question. I'm not understanding what the deal is here. So
Right.
But what if they're gonna send me back?
They're not gonna send you back.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want. Sorry. I fulfilled my end of what my obligations are. I do not feel free right now. I feel like I am in a different form of prison.
Oh, now that's a twist I didn't see coming. When that part started, I assumed it was just part of her parole terms that she was supposed to depart directly for her ultimate place of residence per terms of probation or something like that. It wouldn't seem like an unusual requirement. You know, make haste directly to your point of residence. But her trial lawyer being there and basically pitch-holing them into admitting that now she's released, they just want her gone out of the state immediately. I don't even know what the legal precedent would be for that. If she's been released, unless it's a condition of the release, then trying to dictate someone isn't allowed to remain seems like a constitutional issue, freedom of movement and all that. I don't know. I'm just reacting on the fly, and to be honest, I'm not really that interested. But the to be continued points glaringly to the future shows that will continue to follow her efforts to adapt to the real world, which I may or may not cover in a condensed format because I also kind of want to get out the newest stuff, the FOIA releases, and other gems unearthed by some of the prominent channels and critics here on YouTube who are currently my follow list, but I haven't checked out yet because I want to get this out of the way first. And there we have it, the conclusion to the prison confessions part of the Gypsy saga. Now, I'm heading off for a little while now because I've got a little traveling to do, followed by a house move and getting married. So it may be a couple of months before I can revisit and get to work on the next installments of Gypsy's narcissistic journey through the free world. If you're subbed to the channel, slap the notifications option and you'll see when I put the next one out. I'll likely be back streaming on the main channel well in advance of the next installments. So when you see me over there on Hatman and on Rumble, that's a good indicator that I've started work on the next chapter. Anyway, thank you for hanging out. Please drop a comment below. You can catch me on Rumble and my main YouTube channel. Hyperlinks are in the description. I'll see you soon, so take care. And if you do feel a need to murder anyone, then please make sure it's justified and don't get caught. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.